Hello, good day, beautiful people. I am the Inspirational Lady 365 Tarot. Welcome to my channel. I greatly appreciate you being here. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I trust you'll love this vibe, and everything you need to know about me is in the description below. This could be past, present, or future, you or someone around you. So take what resonates and leave the rest for someone else. This is a general read. This is not a personal read. If you like a personal read, check out the description below, and I will be happy to assist you with doing so. Keep in mind that tarot is a tool. It is not the final rule. So it is okay to have an empty cup when you're on Lady Noble's channel. You really want to see what's up, okay? All are welcome on this channel, and all contributions are highly appreciated. One second, ladies and gentlemen. With the Ace of Wands here, we're starting off. There is someone who is manifesting things that they are passionate about. You're feeling very inspired at this time, collective. You're busy manifesting your best life, things you are inspired about. There are some things you're keeping to yourself. There could be some people trying to maybe I don't want to say be nosy. Be nosy, pry. But there are some people just very interested. You're very to yourself, I'm not going to say introverted. I'm picking up someone who's to themselves on purpose. You love your alone time. You love solitude. You could be someone who does a lot of meditation, very spiritually inclined, but you're very unique in how you present yourself and how you carry yourself. And so there are onlookers. There are people who are observing you who are just curious. This could be male and female. Okay. This could be people in your community. This could be people on your job. I don't know. Maybe you eat lunch by yourself. I'm seeing someone eat lunch by themselves. There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe you go to the car on your lunch break to get a peace of mind, And just because a person chooses to isolate themselves doesn't mean that they're depressed, doesn't mean that they're a mean person. We have free will to live a life that we desire each and every day. And so I'm picking up you choose peace, and you understand that you cannot control others, but you can control yourself. So you move about in a particular way to make sure that you're constantly engaging in a peaceful mindset, a peaceful life. This doesn't mean that you're perfect. That's not what we're talking about. But there are people wanting to know more about you because you're very different. You love your alone time. You have friends. You have family, but you don't mind being to yourself. And your family know this about you, but people who don't know you, they look at you like, they're weird. And no, the collective is not weird. The collective just have chosen to be themselves. You entertain company, you don't mind friends, but if they can't add peace to your peace, they can't have a piece of you. So I'm picking that up clearly for you, collective. With the Four of Pentacles here, you're into holding on to your peace of mind. You don't like the drama, you don't like the gossip. Well, sometimes, I don't like the gossip either, but sometimes, I mistakenly entangle myself into some gossip. Sometimes I click onto some celebrity ish that I know I need to click off of, but I'm working on that each and every day. We all are, right. So basically this Four of Pentacles, each pentacle here is representing you, maintaining your balance in life, maintaining your peace of mind, making sure you have your sanity, making sure you're financially balanced as well as in your health and wealth, peace and prosperity. Yeah. Health, wealth, peace, and prosperity is what these Four of Coins is representing. And these wings are you flying away from from the BS. You're flying away. If it's not about peace, they can't have a piece of you. I'm hearing that clearly. And very few, it's just the truth. There are some, but very few can add peace to your peace. A person could be interested in you, and just because they have a conversation with you doesn't mean that you have like-minded energy. Just because a person may say that they are attracted to you, well, if they don't know you, what are they attracted to? Your aesthetics? Is it your outer appearance? Or is it something that they are assuming in their own mind about you? So you could be someone whom even people you have dated may observe you or make comments to you about how uniquely different that you are. And I think it's beautiful. And whoever you are, keep being who you are. Don't change who you are. But you are coming into the knowing of who you are as you have moved forward on your path. You're very wise. You're learning the lessons as you move on. And that's a gift and an honor within itself. So don't change who you are, and trust and believe, even if it's just one or two people, the divine, the universe will strategically orchestrate people to cross your path whom you have like-minded energy with. But back to the relationship thing, it's just like meeting someone who wants to date you and they say, well, I'm attracted to you. Well, if they don't know you, the question is, what are they attracted to? Are they attracted to your aesthetics, your outer appearance, or are they looming some kind of assumption in their mental faculties about you, assuming you're this and that? Are they just fantasizing, or are they hoping to meet you under genuine intentions? But it takes time to get to know people. It doesn't happen overnight. A person can hold a mask for many years if they choose to do so. There are some people who are that clever before they really reveal their true intentions of who they are and whether or not they're for your highest good. And so you're doing nothing wrong. Your spirit guides want you to know, male or female, you're doing nothing wrong. So continue to have the courage with the Fool card here. Continue to stand in your power. You don't have to dim your light. You don't have to change anything about you. If someone has a problem with who you are, what you believe in, what you practice, what you worship, whatever, what you eat, what you drink, well, guess what? It's okay for them to have their opinion, and there's no need for you to become upset. Just acknowledge that they're not for you and you're not for them. And Spirit said vivaciously move on. That means do it with your head up, and just be thankful when a person shows you that you have nothing in common with them. So yeah, 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 yeah. So I'm picking up these are things that you have been experiencing, and that's why you're very selective. You're not letting just anybody. You ain't out here all willy-nilly, man. Just be up in your life like that. You're making sure you recognize when a person is full of chaotic energy. You go through observation, and you learn through observation, because you can learn a lot through observation, just watching a person, listening to them talk, seeing how they respond. You don't have to say anything at all. And collective, if you don't believe me, yo, try it. Next time you're in a group setting, anywhere, especially if you're at work, you're having a meeting or some kind of, and just listen to people talk. You don't have to say a thing. Just sit there and just listen to people talk. Watch how they respond to particular topics. Watch how a person carries themselves, how they present themselves. It'll tell you a lot. Some people can hide some things and some people can't. We all have different gifts. We all have different abilities. So, sometimes when people think they are hiding, hey, there's somebody who can see right through that. Okay. They can see right through that. Okay. So we have the 10 of cups. And so this is something that you desire, harmony. You're like, if it's not about harmony, I don't want to hear about it. Now, it's not that you like to pretend or block out things. It's just simply you believe in love and harmony and divine connections. If it's not meant for you, collective, you are not forcing it. Very well. You're not using your flesh to control your decisions. You have that tamed. If you want to get you some, you go get you some. And if you don't, you won't. That's how that go. Oh, somebody say I can't and I ain't. Okay. You are in full control of who you are. Very well balanced, male or female. I'm also picking up a male energy, who's not allowing themselves to mesh with everyone, to have sexual encounters with everyone also. You're very mindful. Okay. And so we have the star energy here. So with the star energy, you're making sure that you're taking care of the MVP, which is you. You are, okay, the master of your own universe. All right, spirit. Okay, so you're allowing that star energy to shine, inside and out. The more that you stand 10 toes down in your authenticity, of who you are. And just because you do come across people who may not be for you or like what you believe in, what you talk about, what you wear, what you smell like, this could be anything. You're learning not to become upset, not to become confrontational. That it's okay that we all are really, really, really uniquely, individually, divinely created. And there are times where, sometimes people often pass judgment onto each other and don't understand each other because they're at a different level, and we're all at different levels of knowing. A person could be in a phase of their life where, um they're in their root stages. They're learning. They're at the beginning. uh Maybe they have not had a lot of, how can I say this, instruction, proper, no, not instruction, let me say proper instruction around them in their development that would allow them to be open to a variety or a plethora of different people. We are all brought up differently. We come from different backgrounds, and everyone's household and parenting skills is different. And one thing we all have in common is that we all were once a child, because we are an adult. And so, maybe the people that you cross, and this doesn't mean for you to feel sorry for them, but this is for somebody's spirit is saying they were not surrounded with proper structure or instruction on how to stay open to being able to be social and cordial with people who are of different caliber, different interests, whether this is your sexual preference, whether you're LGBT, whether you're heterosexual, whether you wear polka dot socks and a plaid shirt, doesn't matter what the color of your skin is. Some people were not given the opportunity, collective, to have that proper instruction that would allow them to recognize that the world is different for a reason. The world is psychedelic for a reason. It's neon colors everywhere for a reason, metaphorically speaking. And everyone has their own unique divine purpose. And so when we come up against people and choose to pass judgment, we're not judging them, we're also judging God. We're also judging divine, because you never know where your goal lies. And people aren't brought up with that kind of structure in their home to make sure that they have that in their mindset. Look, you can live the life you choose. And you have free will, but don't forget, we live in a world of a lot of unique, different people, places, and things. And this is part of planet Earth. This is part of divine purpose and order. A lot of people aren't brought up with that, and some people actually have to teach themselves that as they come into their awakening, as they develop themselves in their spirituality. Okay, because that is a gift in itself, knowing how to reside and be cordial with people who are different from you. Mm-hmm. Show is. Okay, show is. And so with the Three of Swords here, you're not going to stick around and break your own heart. Okay, you're not going to stick around. I'll just hold it back here and break your own heart, collective. You're going where the love is, where you're celebrated and not tolerated. Okay. Yeah, you're not going to break your own heart. Maybe there was a time in the past where you would stick around and people would have opportunities, with their foolery, nonsense. And maybe, it'll be some kind of fallout or discord. And maybe you'll wait a couple of days and you'll show up a couple of days or to the next party, or they'll call you 3 days later and y'all back on popping. But no, 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 no. You are using your wisdom and discernment and also observation. And when you recognize it's not for you, you are someone that is willing to accept it. There are people who see this energy and choose to walk forward anyway. There are people who see this energy and choose to walk forward anyway. Okay. So yeah. With the lover's card, even the lover's card, okay? Embracing. Embracing yourself with the lover's card. Learning to love yourself. And you could also be someone who has had people tell you this, that have respect for you. You could have had also romantic connections that didn't last long, but in the end, they complimented you, like, you know what, it didn't work between us, but you are a great person. Or they let you know later on down the line, it didn't work, but you are worthy, you are the catch, because you're learning to love yourself as you move forward, and it's showing, and it's not fake, it's not pretend. People know when you're being honest, and people know when you are not. You can tell if someone is putting on and trying to get attention, but you can really tell when a person is walking and standing in their authenticity, when they're being themselves and they're not changing the tone of their voice because a certain person come around, or the kind of energy of, oh, my people are coming in from out of town, let me shampoo the carpet. Well, the carpet should have been shampooed anyway, darling. You ain't got to do all that because somebody coming out of town, from out of town. Now, who are you trying to impress? That kind of energy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so the next card we have here is the Four of Swords. So you're doing a lot of resting. You're doing a lot of rejuvenating. You're able to rest. You're able to pour into yourself. And that's where this Lover's card, but this is you loving yourself. You're resting, you're rejuvenating, and you're loving yourself. Okay. And it looks good. People see it and they know it. Even if they haven't said it, it looks good on you, collective, male or female. Your skin is clear. You could be losing weight and unaware of it. You could be someone who's been working out consistently and you think you're not losing weight, but you actually are. Okay. You don't need a compliment to tell you that. That's for somebody. If you've been consistent, it's happening, and stay consistent. Okay. Yeah. Because the wheel is here. The wheel is turning in your favor. That boy is oiled and ready to keep moving. And so you're on the right path. Spirit wants you to know you're doing nothing wrong. Don't feel that you're doing something wrong. You're doing nothing wrong, collective. Okay. And so we have the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is chivalry and romance. So there could be someone, a new love interest approaching that wants to get to know you a little better. Okay. And there's more harmony in your life and cohesiveness, whether you choose to date this person or not, because you're someone who has learned a lot of lessons. You have passed a lot of tests that were given to you. And the group of people I'm talking to moving forward, um, you know, there may be instances where you choose to mingle with a friend. This could be friendships as well, or date someone, and then you find out they're not for you. But the difference is, like I said earlier, you know not to get upset. You know not to become confrontational. You know to just recognize they're not for me. It's not working, and you're moving forward. And also, I see you as someone not sticking around and not saying, "Oh, well, it was a mistake. Maybe next time they'll treat me better." No, 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 no. You're using your discernment and accepting it for what it is. If it's a duck, it's a duck. And you're not trying to tell yourself some kind of lie or some kind of story about what's really partaking in your life. You're being original, whoever you are. You like, look, it is what it is, and so ain't no sense in me playing myself or lying to myself. As quick as this quickening is the energy that we're going through, as fast as the days are moving and going, collective. That's the best thing a person could ever do is choose not to waste their own time, and you making sure you're using every day, minute, hour, second, week, and month wisely. Whoever you are, you making sure that nobody is wasting your time and you're not wasting nobody's. You're about your business. You're enjoying life, but you're like, look, we ain't about to play. We either gonna do this or we not. Okay. This concludes the read. I hope it assists you for your highest good.